Yo, what's good, y'all? Back at it again. And I apologize to all those who saw my um the flaws of the rule of two, the Sith rule of two, the Bane system. Um I it got deleted. And those who wanted to see it, I apologize. I didn't even get to the comments. Things happen. It's YouTube. What do you know? Technology sometimes does not work the way we want it to. But it is what it is. Don't worry. I will definitely be expounding upon and implementing those in further videos because you know Sith videos are coming. The Fall of the Sith, Fall of the Jedi Order. All right. We'll be doing multiple characters and how they aided in those. And we'll be dealing with why there is no Jedi Order and no Sith Order in the current trilogy, as well as various other videos dealing with Rey. I know I'll have like 3 videos on that, videos on, I know one of them will have to be with her and Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, as I prefer to call him. Anyways, this video will be one of at least 3 videos I'm going to do with Luke's character in The Last Jedi. All right. And this one will specifically deal with his character. I know, just said that. His character, as far as his characterization, the small amount of character development. It wasn't focused on the character development in this film. We already dealt with that in the original trilogy. We don't really need to rehash a lot of it, but it did give a little bit more. But there was a lot of characterization. A lot of people are arguing, they're complaining, really. That's what it is. It's not really any arguments. Very few are making legitimate points that he was out of character. And to those people that say that Luke Skywalker was out of character, was not in character in The Last Jedi, they need to go back to the Return of the Jedi. Okay, go back to episode 6, The Return of the Jedi, and you will clearly see that Luke was very much in character. I personally loved this version of Luke. This is probably my favorite version of Luke by far. I loved him in Return of the Jedi. All right. Luke is one of my top 20 favorite characters in fiction history, all time, hands down. Growing up, he had a major impact on me. But what I say is Return of the Jedi, all right? He did exactly what he did in the Return of the Jedi. People say, well, character progression, getting over it. Bro, I'll get back to them in a second and why they're wrong with saying that. Here's the thing. I love this disillusioned, jaded, cynical version. We see this happen with people all the time as they grow up. Anyone who knows punk rock, for example, the genre, knows what happened with a lot of the old punk rockers, especially the anarcho-punk rockers. They got old, disillusioned, and jaded because of the system. They wanted things to change. Remember what happened, bro. He tried to refound the Jedi Order. He made a school. He had a moment of weakness, as people keep saying. He had a moment where he almost killed his nephew. Understand that. That's number one. His nephew goes and kills the rest of the students and burns down the last vestiges of a new hope of a Jedi Order. Everything that he believed in was thrown down and crashed. Talking about Luke. Everything. He isolated himself. Now he went to go discover more, go back to the fundamentals of what it meant to be a Jedi back in the past. Go and search and gain maturity and knowledge and stuff. But he cut himself off from the Force. He was so ashamed. He was guilty. He was disappointed in himself. And here you go. He thinks he's at least partially responsible for Ben Solo's turn to the dark side. And not just turn, seemingly falling full blown. Even though that's a bit questionable. Anyways, the thing is, he saw darkness and he was trying to prevent another Vader. Now, I'll probably deal more in depth with that and why the Jedi Order in another video, one of the Luke videos, why the Jedi Order needed to end. It is end with him being the last Jedi. Here's the thing. Everything that we saw was an extension from we already know. Just because you want character development does not mean you get rid of who the character is fundamentally. If you go back to Return of the Jedi, that Kylo scene, that Ben Solo scene, that's exactly what happened in Return of the Jedi. But did he strike? No. But of course Ben Solo perceived it as that. he was already gone. He was already beginning to become far gone. So of course he perceived things as that, and he was young. So here you have your uncle, your sensei, seeming like he wants to kill you, your master. Also remember that fact that Luke was not indoctrinated, brainwashed, programmed as a Jedi. He was not brought up in the Jedi Order. He didn't see the old Jedi Masters and their struggles during Anakin's time and even before that. And also remember the fact that Qui-Gon Jinn didn't want to get another Padawan before he got Obi-Wan Kenobi. This isn't like this is anything new. Luke hadn't really dealt with being a teacher. We're dealing with decades now. I said it before, said it time and time again. I will not watch Force Awakens. To me, that was a complete filler. I haven't watched Rogue One. If that comes on and I haven't seen it, sure. But I'm not trying to watch these filler films, at least what I perceive to be. And I don't really need to. When you look at it, okay, this is part of the reason why we should have had, instead of that skipping decades of this man's life, we should have had that. I mean, they kind of remedied that, but we should have had that. Luke cut himself off. And what we got to see was a much different perspective on the Jedi Order, a much different perspective than what we'd seen in the original trilogy and in the prequels, right? Luke, like Anakin, but Anakin at least was somewhat taught and incorporated a bit into the Jedi Order. Luke was a young man when he was being trained as a Jedi, become a Jedi Knight and such. He didn't have all that time and training, so he's not that experienced. So it makes perfect sense as to why. And all your efforts are gone down. So he thinks maybe the galaxy is better off. But he did get a redeeming factor. And what we saw, because he's a hero, is actually classic Greek storytelling of hero, as some have brought up. Luke's character in that movie was honestly modern story writing at its finest. We've seen this, even though he wasn't a hero at first, Jaime Lannister in the Game of Thrones. We've seen it done with Superman Kal-El. We've seen it done with Batman Bruce Wayne, even though he's an anti-hero. We've seen it done with Spider-Man Peter Parker. Various versions of characters you can name. We've seen this done with the way is seemingly darker version of Luke, although he wasn't dark. And while it was a small time period and he wasn't really trying to train Rey, he actually did a lot. Like, what he did was a accelerated version of the training he got. See, understand this. Rey, and I'll get to her character, and there's issues that people have, sure, whatever, and I'll deal with those. But the thing is, Rey wasn't as rudimentary as he was. That's just the facts. Regardless of what you think of her, she just wasn't. She wanted to be trained, and he actually trained her. Also, understand the fact that he is a Jedi, but he was not of the Jedi Order. There's a lot more to this, and I'll get more in depth. What does it mean to be a Jedi, and such, probably, in later videos, and more expanding the same thing with Sith and everything else and whatnot. But people need to stop having nostalgia glasses and look at his character. His character was an extension, and honestly, this was a beautiful job of brought to completion. I loved how they ended everything with Luke's character in this, and the way that they sent off with a phenomenal display of power. Clearly master level, if not grandmaster level, in this movie. Something we'd never seen. Come on, that so many light years away that he was able to do force projection. I knew just going at it was an advanced force technique into moving. When I saw him, I'm like, oh, I guess so. But I'm like, he should at least be able to do this much. Luke's character in this embodied everything that he was and everything that he struggled with. Because remember, he still struggled with the dark side always, but he never fell to it. And that was who Luke was throughout all of it. Unexpected Wonder, like, comment, subscribe, tell me your thoughts, and until next time, have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.